Did you know that in 2022 in the U.S. alone, there were 748 hazmat incidences that could have been prevented with better training?
You know, training with us gives you members tens or even hundreds of thousands of hours of experience that we have making your people better, uniquely made for your people using only the best equipment and techniques out there.
In just 3 easy steps, we can start your transformation of your team today. Schedule a call, customize your training plan, and begin the best in-class training that's available.
So why risk choosing instructors who have only theoretical knowledge? Don't settle. Your team's competence and honor is at stake.
Secure your spot now. Our training slots for the upcoming quarter are almost booked up. Act now to ensure your team is not left behind.
So train differently. Head to thehazmatguys.com/hire us. Get your appointment and begin your transformation today. You know, the son was stomping through the house with his baseball cleats on, and he stepped on a battery and started smoking, and that doesn't work.
No. But speaking of things that don't work, there just isn't a great way to handle insulted batteries, right?
Well, we may have found a solution for that, and it's called the KULR Safe Case, which is KULR.
Really? Go ahead. Tell me more.
Well, KULR, a company that got to start solving thermal management issues from NASA, has incorporated their patented thermal runaway shield, the TRS, which is a coolant designed to slow the spread and lower the onset temperature that trigger thermal runaway. This design also includes a blast plate and a precision venting to ensure that the case can handle the pressure of a full state of charge release and gas-heavy cells.
Well, this sounds perfect for on my first two engines. So where can I find out more?
There is a direct link for Safe Case on our website, or you can go to KULR.com or KULR's website, which is KULRtechnology.com, or through Safeware at SafewareInc.com.
Hello, everybody.
How is everybody doing? We are gearing up right now. If you were behind the fourth wall, you'll know that we're a week and a half before Baltimore, but we are gearing up so heavily that we're pre-recording a couple of weeks because there's much work to be done.
Nobody's going to be home next week.
There's much work to be done.
I'm looking forward to. I mean, I don't think I've ever been so excited for the things that we're doing at a conference than the scavenger hunt. I mean, it's really taking off. We're going to have a great time with it. Looking forward to giving away lots of great prizes. But besides that, what else have we got going on?
So while I'm in California, I'm going to be quasi-quarterbacking the After Action Report, which is going to be the first Wednesday, which is June 5th, 1930 hours Eastern Standard Time, and that we have Mike Hildebrand and a long litany of people that I am lining up for the rest of the year. Long format, comments are on, free, Facebook, YouTube. Come on, smoke them. Like, give me pictures of him in an unflattering manner. Everything goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, and actually today we have a meeting with the Battery Destroyer 3 group, which tentatively is early July. So we're going to see where that one goes.
That would be fun. Conference is coming up. We've got Baltimore, obviously. Yep. That's when you listen to this, the second one of this, we should be at Baltimore. You shouldn't be listening to it because you should be at Baltimore. Yeah. The Utah Governors Conference, June 11th to the 12th, continuing challenge, the 3rd to the 6th. We've got the fourth Battery Destroyers Club, September 4th, and the Virginia Hazmat Conference, September 10th through the 13th.
And also, if you're not looking up, I am sporting a little HMAF.
You are? Okay, which one do you have? The original measuring tape measure.
Awesome. It's a thumb. And we will have a whole bunch more popping out of Baltimore. Anyhow, first episode of a few?
Maybe. So we were going to wrap this into a mailbag because we seem to get a lot of questions. The whole concept of the 1994 suit kind of eludes people. What is it used for? What can it be used for? There's a lot of misinformation out there. And kind of rightfully so. When you read the standards, there's multiple classes, different PPMs, different mission-specific stuff for different things. And it seems to have a lot of people kind of questioning. Like, one question that we always get is, well, why don't I just dump my level A and get MT94s because they seem like they can do everything.
Right.
Well, is that feasible? Is that not feasible? Like, why can't I just have an MT94 instead of a level A?
Right. And we jokingly call it a B plus.
Yes.
Like,
or an A minus.
Or an A minus, whatever. But like they have a very, I don't want to say niche, because it's almost like a Swiss Army knife. You can do a lot of things with these suits. But again, and we're going to get to this at a certain point, it is not a level A.
No, it's not.
It would be called a level A.
It protects your skin. And this is where the confusion comes from, right? It protects your skin like a level A. It is a vapor tight ensemble. The highest class is designed to go up to 10,000 parts per million. So it protects your skin against vapors, but with the respiratory on the outside, we get a little bit leery with that. But it's a great suit. It has great potential for a lot of different things. I know I've worn it in times like we had a huge ethylene glycol leak underground. And I was opting to go into the MT94 to go deal with that, mainly because it has a ruggedness to it. It has sort of a confined, spacious feel that allows you to be a little bit more abrasive, and I'm a little bit more maneuverable. I can be cooled off a little bit quicker. So we got a lot of different things going on with the MT94, which is not just the MT94. All right, so I guess I should start that off now. We are going to be horrific. Right. And we are going to say MT94 because that's what we are used to. There are a lot of manufacturers out there that make a suit that is an NFPA 1994 suit. So even though
Kepler,
right,
everybody
even though our dumbasses are going to refer to it over and over and over again as an MT94, we are without a doubt talking about 94 suits as a whole. So let's just dive into it, right? We've got a lot of the confusion with the MT94s stems from this idea and concept that there's different suits out there. Oh my God, right? Like we have a level B and there's one standard for level B. There's a tons of different suits, but they all fit into the level B category. MT94s not so much. So our class 1 suits, they provide us the highest level of protection within this realm of the 94 suits. Their purpose is they're designed for environments with high concentrations of vapors and liquid chemical agents up to 10,000 parts per million. So that starts to give you an idea right there as to when you need to be when you can be in an MT94 and when you need to be in a level A. Because if you're going to be exposed to concentrations that are higher than 10,000 parts per million, we need you to be in a level A.
Right. And also a key part of this thing is it is specifically designed, and it's specifically designed for CBRNE type operations. And I don't want to get too much into the chemical physical properties, but typically those CBRNE type things are lower vapor pressure, right? More persistent, more sticky, and so the suit, I don't want to say it's made for it. It's kind of like
the physical matrix
for that.
Right. The materials are made for it. They're made to actually like pull the agents into the suit so that you have a much less chance of cross-contamination.
To the outside of the suit, not inside the suit.
Not inside the suit. Yeah. It brings it right to your skin. It's
perfect.
Phenomenal. We use it for pain relief all the time. It's great. Apply some fentanyl on that, boom, you'll be out in no time.
Amazing. So again, the class 1 is the highest level of protection, right? And that is the one that is, as far as an application, we are using for situations where there's a significant risk of exposure to industrial chemicals. Now, industrial chemicals run the gamut. They can be anywhere from mid-range to true gases.
Really bad shit.
Right. So things that, and we'll leave it like this. Things I go to find are in the lower vapor pressure, and things that come to find me are on the higher vapor pressure. Toxic industrial chemicals or TICs, they can run the whole gamut.
Yeah.
Now, chemical warfare is typically I go find them.
Now, there's a small nuance to what Bob said that I think needs to be stringed out a little bit, right? You have your protection, right? He said it provides for CBRNE, but then the application almost sounded the same. The big difference here is that significant risk of exposure. So as we start to deviate which class suit we should be wearing for what, this is going to become a huge role. It's the significant risk of exposure that classifies that class 1 as the class 1.
Which, if you don't know the hell we're talking about, go back, 2 episodes where we go into, prediction modeling.
Yes.
This is seriously what you're talking about. And in order for you to pick the right suit, you must predict your potential for exposure to that hazmat.
Right. And of course, then that leads into, well, what is my job? What is my mission for this?
Right.
Does my mission provide me significant risk of exposure? So this is I think is where the confusion to the suits have landed. So what is made of the suit? The suit is typically, it's a fully encapsulated suit. It 100% is fully encapsulated to your body, not your SCBA, with integrated gloves and boots that does provide a vapor tight seal.
Right. Now, this is, when would we use this? Let's say, scenarios. We would use it typically in like a chemical warfare agent. We would use it in like incidents such as highly toxic chemicals, such as like nerve agents like sarin VX, blister agents like mustard gas, or toxic industrial chemicals. Now, we're not talking about just the generic oopsie with an ammonia release. This is an intentional release for a gain, like a terrorism type thing where the math has changed.
Right.
That one modifier changes the whole game.
But with that being said, remember, we come from a very terrorism orientated training program, right? If you're down, say, in Louisiana, where they're manufacturing toxic industrial materials, you very well may use this suit in that setting, not to mitigate, but maybe as a life rescue type of a suit. Maybe you're going to go in that suit for recon, where you get all the benefits of the suit, but you're not, you're not coming in contact to it to the point that you need a level A. Does that kind of make sense?
Oh, yes.
Some other scenarios that may drive us to putting this suit on is an unknown hazardous environment. And this one I get a little bit weary on, only because of the strict definitions of the different classes, right? Entering environments where the type and concentration of hazardous materials are unknown, and that may necessitate this highest level of protection. I'm going to agree with this and disagree with it a little bit, okay? Because in order to know that you're below 10,000 parts per million, you got to be able to meter it. In order to be able to meter, you got to kind of know what it is. But I do understand where they're coming at with this. And we can talk about this maybe not in the sense of terrorism, but let's talk about it in a sense of what other materials, what other situations can we use this for? Well, let's say you have a poop plant in your facility. Okay, and you get somebody who goes down in one of these containers, and now you're you're doing a confined space rescue. Well, your hazards are relatively unknown, and you want the best protection possible, but you can't go on rope in a level A.
No.
So
impossible.
This would be a great suit to be able to do that, where I'm not necessarily talking about chemical warfare agents, but I am talking about a situation in which the other missions that I'm doing, they don't allow for that level A to occur. And then obviously the CBRN terrorism, where we're responding to terrorist attacks with, the chemical, the biological, the radiological. Even though radiological, you can respond to anything. What is nice about wearing the suit with the radiological is it is designed to kind of pull stuff in and make it stick. So if you get radiological contaminants on you or nuclear material on you, you have much less likelihood of cross-contamination by creating it, making it go airborne again if you are using the suit. And of course, we are always looking at the suit in terms of rescue, which could be both civilian and other firefighters or technicians. So this class 1 suit lands really, really nicely into that category.
Now, if we break this down to now the class 2 of 5, if I'm correct, right?
4.
4, sorry. Class 2 of 4, we now have the 1994 Class 2, which is a liquid chemical protection. And its purpose is for use in environments where liquid chemical agents are present, but vapor threats are minimal. Let me translate. We're talking about things that are liquid and are really at the low end of the vapor pressure trail, right? Where I am definitely coming to find it like your sarin, like your VX, where like the vapor pressure is like 0.000039.
So chlorine, class 1.
Yeah, because it comes to find me.
Because it comes to find me, right? Ammonia, class 1. Things that are oily. So the protection that this offers, again, is against splash and sprays, but not necessarily vapors. So I may try to opt for this suit. This would be like a nice in between it from a non-terrorist event, right? I may opt for this suit in a situation where I don't need a level A because it's not skin harming, but I also know that I can't use a B because I'm going to be intentionally splashed. As long as that material is going to be compatible with your SCBA and the stuff on your outside, it is something that is worth considering putting on for protection against liquids.
Yeah. And now, as far as our application, we are going to be using this for liquid chemicals and decon tasks, which is a new thing now, because now, you got to be at or below. But this suit, I mean, if you think about it, your decon, I don't think a lot of people are doing like vapor decons out there.
No, it's starting to become more popular as the industry, right? As different fire departments are starting to understand the concept of dry decon, there are more and more, people setting up fans and and stuff like that. So it is happening. It's slow, but it's happening.
Right. And the point is like, these are things that I went into the hot zone and I am unlikely to be exposed to a vapor. I am likely to be exposed to a liquid in small quantities, only really where I brought it on.
Right.
So that's pretty much more of a focused type operation.
Yeah, and the components of this suit differ from the class 1 a little bit because it includes a splash suit, which is that additional barrier at the seams and closures to prevent liquid penetration, right? So if anybody ever goes back, listen to the shirt episode that we talked about, and if you do not have the proper level B style suit for an operation like that, this type of class 2 chemical liquid protection would be perfect for that kind of an event.
Now, when we would use it, obviously decon, as you just said, when you're doing decon, I cannot explain to you how comfortable these suits are relative to a B, to an A. I'm talking comfort. It's like, you have to experience it. That's all I can say. Compare it to a level A, level B, and stuff like that. You'll be like, this is luxurious.
Yeah, it's kind of like being in a dry suit. Yeah. Like if anybody's out there's ever been a diver or you do some kayaking, a cold water dry suit, it's very, very comfortable on those lines. We could also use it in the hazardous materials spill. And since it is a liquid or chemical spill or an industrial transportation setting, yes, we could use it for a spill. But I would use it for specific scenarios. I would use it for the overhead spill where I've got stuff leaking down from on top of me. Or if I walk into, that training sprinkler scenario where there's just shit spraying out everywhere, that would be a perfect thing for this. But remember that the vapors can't harm me. It's the liquids that I'm concerned about.
I will say, I wouldn't use them for every spill. And the reason why is because they're more expensive than other suits that would equally perform. They are.
But if you don't have a suit that's going to perform, right? Like you have that instance, like when we had the front entry Tyvek Fs that ended up, right? We'd used the right PPE. We were in a level B. It was a level B suit, but we had the right protection, but it wasn't structured properly for the task. Industrial cleanups, right? We're talking hazardous materials. There is a whole section of industrial hazmat that's out there. In fact, I don't know, is there a little bit of movement on that? Can we
we are going to debuting probably by the end of the summer, a couple of new shows.
Yeah, and specifically on something that may be within this category. But if you're in the industrial setting, right, these are not just suits that are suitable for fire departments. The industrial side can use this as well, whether you're in the emergency response side of industry or if you're in the cleanup response, like if you're going to work on a Superfund site. These are absolutely would fit the bill, and they'd be really comfortable for long-term working. Like if I'm going to work for hours and hours and hours in a suit, this is the one I want to work in.
Right. And going with that, I process chemicals, right? I deliver chemicals. I transfer, I hook up the hoses. I hook it up to the building. I push the levers. This is the type of suit where I can be in proximity to that transfer, the potential for a possible splash, and be comfortable, look chic, a fashion plate as always, and still be chemically sound. So.
All right. The third one is going to sound very similar, but pay attention to the wording. Class 3 are for liquid splashes and particulate protection. The purpose of them is designed for scenarios where there is a lighter risk of liquid splash and particulate contamination, but not significant vapor threats. So what was the difference there? The difference was that I have that sprinkler event where I'm going in and I'm guaranteed I'm going to be getting sprayed down with stuff. That's class 2. Class 3 is I might get
risk.
Right. There's a risk.
Right. But there's no significant, we're talking like way low, like 5-10%. I'm making up a number. Don't really write that down of vapor threats.
Holding you to that.
Right. Now, the protection it gives us protection against splash and particulates. So it's a lower level of chemical resistance compared to class 1 and 2. And I'm sure, I haven't looked it up in the book, it's a cheaper suit.
Yes, each one of these becomes significantly cheaper as we go down in class because they're providing less protection. So you've got your choices of 1, 2, 3, and 4. What kind of applications would we commonly go to this class 3 suit for? Decon operations is another one. So let's think about that, right? So we've got a class 2, we've got a class 3, and we're talking decon operations. Well, the difference is that splash risk. So if I've got a decon situation where I know that my decon guys are going to be getting wet. Let's say you're from the Paleolithic age and you still use the 3-pool car wash as your main source of decon, then maybe you want to put your guys in a class 3, in a class 2. Yeah. If you're a modern technician and understands chemical and physical properties the way they should, you might opt for a class 3 suit because
you're powder.
Right, or it's a powder, because you're going to be doing a decon process that uses a little less water and a little less potential for being splashed. Obviously, industrial cleanups, again, it comes back to that risk and situations where you have particulates, right? You're talking about for us, we're talking about fentanyls, we're talking about powders. For industry, you could be talking about asbestos, right? This would be a perfect suit for an asbestos cleanup.
Love it. Now, we would use this again for environmental things like oopsies. It went into the creek, right? Where you might have an environmental cleanup effort involving liquid waste, particulate matter, such as an oil spill response or hazardous waste site, like Mike's is saying. Or you can even have industrial hygiene monitoring. Now, these are guys in industry who go around and check shit. Right. They have the meters and they go in there and they do monitoring for liquid splashes or particulates. These guys are checking that the long-term exposure for workers or for occupants or environment or inhabitants or whatever it is are within the guidelines of manufacturing or laboratory specs. And they're sticklers. This is perfect for them.
They are the meter nerds. They're the meter nerds of the industrial world, and they're math nerds too. So they're the ones that turn around and you can't be in that environment anymore. You've already had way too much of a hit. We've talked about decon extensively, right? We know that decon can be used. Maintenance and repairs. So if you're in a situation, say in industry, and you're conducting maintenance and repairs tasks in an environment where liquid chemicals or particulates are present, but we're not worried about the vapors of those products, then this might be a perfect suit for you to don and go in and do your work, especially because of the comfort. Like, I can't drive this home enough how comfortable it is. And if you get somebody to spray you down with water when you're in one of these suits, oh my God, it's like you jumped in the swimming pool.
Yeah, it's like, so let's get into the class 4. This is particulate only. Okay, it's only for no liquids, no gases, just particulates, which means they have no vapor pressure, nothing. Right. And so its intended purpose is for environments where only particulate hazards are present, no risk of liquid or vapor chemical exposure. So we jokingly call these like nuisance suits. I don't want to get that powder or schmutz on my jacket, my clothes. I have nice stuff on. And so it provides protection against particulate contaminants such as dust, powders, and fibers. Unzip, take it off, your problem goes away.
Yeah, and I know nuisance suits can kind of be a misnomer. I know I put it on the first time thinking nuisance suit, and chiefs were still coming up and talking to me. So it didn't work the way I originally thought it was going to, but it does. It protects against dust, powders, and fibers. So if you're dealing with a dust, a powder, or a fiber, this is a suit that you definitely want to turn to.
Right. Now, when would we use this? What applications?
All right, so it's going to be ideal for an industrial setting where you have asbestos removal. From both an industrial and like a J-hat setting, you have pharmaceutical manufacturing. And you could be like, what the hell do you mean J-hat for pharmaceuticals? There's a lot of clandestine labs out there in which they're making pharmaceuticals, like your fentanyl labs, your pill presses. That would all be considered pharmacological. Wow, I can't talk. What's the word, Bob?
That's it. Pharmacological.
Pharmacological manufacturing. You're going to be in that environment for a while. You're going to be processing the scene for a while. You're going to want a suit like this, okay? Any place where the particulates, that contamination is the primary concern.
Yeah. Now, all right, so the applications, asbestos, scenarios where, I don't know, what would we do? I mean, I wouldn't use a suit for like concrete work.
Well, I mean, I guess you could, right? So if you were, could you see like a FEMA team, right? I know, like we sit and we turn around and we go, okay, yeah, but the fire department isn't necessarily responding to an asbestos abatement, but or like you said, concrete. But you know, the FEMA teams do some kind of out of line things if they have to. There is no reason why if they couldn't wear, you know, one of these 1994 suits in an environment where they could be doing an asbestos. Let's say they have to do a search of a building that's been absolutely devastated by a hurricane. You know you're going to have the potential of asbestos. You could be putting these things on, and the same thing, you know, with the pharmaceutical manufacturing that we mentioned before. Like as a responder, there's one thing, but as an industrial person working in that setting, this is a perfect suit to help maintain sterile conditions, because if it's sealed on the outside, it's sealed on the inside as well. Even mold remediation. Right, if you go into like a grow lab or actually just a crappy house, like you bought a house for $12 on a foreclosure kind of thing. Yeah, looks like they're testing missiles there. Mold remediation. This suit would be amazing for you to use, or even agricultural tasks such as things like you're going to be doing things out in the farm, in the field, where you're going to be exposed to dust, soil, or other particulate matter that are probably not hazardous for a short term, but if they're on your skin and mixed with your sweat plus the hot weather and all that stuff, it could transmit inside. You know, things are there. They certainly are.